Good morning, everyone. I want to just say a big thank you to everyone that's already given so heroically to that Christmas hamper outreach. Thanks, Joe. We have had such a great uptake on the gifts, but there are still a few more family members that need to be adopted for gifts. There's also a bunch of food hamper items that need to be brought in to kind of fill up those hampers for those families. So if you haven't grabbed a card off the tree out back, please help yourself. Okay, so it's November. November's my birthday month. And yeah, all right. Well, thank you. Yeah, gratuitous requests for gifts and no. Someone asked me this month, they said, "Oh, it's your birthday. Oh, really? How old?" I said, "Oh, I'm 56. Yikes, they said. I'm like, "Oh, thanks." They're going, "Whoa, do you feel old?" I said, "No, actually, I don't feel that old. I feel like I'm a young 56. You know, I feel good. You know, they give me one of those. It's like, oh, okay, so suit yourselves." It's like, wow. But, you know, I went to a funeral. Kathy and I went to a funeral for a friend of ours that we hadn't seen in a long time. And we saw a bunch of people from kind of, it feels like now a former life. And I walk in there and I go up to these people that I know and whatever, and they turn around, they barely recognize me. I'm like, "It's Jeff." And they're like, "Oh, I didn't recognize." I feel real young, but they're giving me this old vibe. It's like, what? I was just watching some reel on Facebook the other day. They were showing some celebrities that passed away this year. And I had one of those moments. I was like, eesh. Like Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theodore Huxtable from The Cosby Show, the kid, young guy. I heard he passed away. I was like, what? Ray Liotta. He was like one of my, you know, the Italian guy, you know, he was in the Goodfellas. He wasn't that much older than me, man. He passed away. Olivia Newton-John from Grease. Come on, you remember her? These were all my high kind of teenage idols. They're like dropping. I'm like, holy cow. You just have one of those moments where it's just like, wait a second. I'm not comfortable with these kind of people passing away right now. You ever have one of those moments where you just like, life is speeding up. Felt terrible for a family this week whose family pet just suddenly, one day they were celebrating a birthday, and it's like, it feels like only days later, this cherished puppy passes away on them. And it can be so unstabling, so hard. Like to watch, I'm watching that even with my own dog getting old right in front of me. It's like, I don't like that feeling. These reminders sometimes that life is much shorter than maybe we want to sometimes admit. I mean, there's this whole anti-aging campaign out there that says, man, you never have to get young. You never have to get old. Stay young forever. Folks, I don't care what they tell you. The days are ticking. Very first line of Ecclesiastes, the master poet writes, everything is meaningless. Completely meaningless. Goes on to say, in this life, good people are often treated as though they were wicked. And wicked people are often treated as though they were good. It's like the author is saying, look, I have seen innocent, good people die young. And I've seen horrible people live long lives, long, enjoyable lives. It's almost like he's saying, if you think there is some kind of correlation between how good you are and how long you live, you might be dreadfully disappointed at some point, because there doesn't seem to be a correlation. You think you're guaranteed some kind of long, long life loaded with special opportunities. And it's like the author of Ecclesiastes says, no one gets that guarantee. It's funny when he says life is meaningless. That just seems so depressing. It's like, gosh. In fact, probably some of you are here this morning saying, Jarvis, you are bringing me down. Did you know that word meaningless in the original Hebrew language is really the word hevel? Hevel. You know what hevel means? It means vapor or a mist. It says life is like this. It's there, and then it's gone. It's vapor. You think you got miles and miles of runway. It's funny how when you believe that way, minutes, hours, they're like throwaways. Not today, who cares? We got millions and more of them. Ecclesiastes, the wisdom would say, careful. Life is a vapor. It's there and then it's gone. It's funny when you don't think it's miles and miles of runway, how valuable every minute becomes. Isn't it true? Yeah. Thinking about this mortality, people say is depressing. It's funny. I read this article way back in a BBC article. This author had studied this little country known as Bhutan, located in southern Asia. It's known as one of the happiest places on earth. And they tried to figure out how they credit this, what to credit this country for being so happy. The people of Bhutan are encouraged to think about death at least 5 times a day. Is that not counterintuitive? The author shared her experience as she studied the Bhutan practice. She says, I realized thinking about death doesn't depress me. It actually makes me seize the moment, see things that I don't ordinarily see. This morning, I want us to do that. I invited a friend. He's a cherished friend of many of ours. He's been a deep part of the Friends Church community for many years. And he is one who is he's living with a very shortened runway for life. And I actually invited him to come and talk to us this morning about how that's changed him. I would like you to put your hands together and welcome Gerry Smiley as he comes and joins me this morning. Thanks, Gerry, for joining us this morning to talk. I've not been well, and so I'm not going to sit too close to you, Gerry. I don't want you to be offended by that. Is this in the way for you guys? Thank you. Thank you for coming this morning to talk about shortened runways. Yeah, I know that not everyone... Is Gerry's mic on? Can you just check for a second? Talk for a second. I want to make sure. Can you pick up his mic?
My mic working?
There we go.
Is mic on?
Oh, good. All right, we're good. I know that not everyone knows much of your story. Could we maybe start there, Gerry? And sorry, I'm just going to crank that up a little bit. Okay. Sorry. Can you just talk a little bit, give us a little snapshot of what we're talking about this morning. A number of years ago, you were given a diagnosis. Let's start there.
I would have thought by now, many times I've been up here, anyone in this crowd probably could tell the story. I was diagnosed with an illness called pulmonary fibrosis in 2014. And at that time, they said the life expectancy of a person who has this would be somewhere between 3 and 5 years.
Tell me about that, when that landed.
Yeah, it was very strange. I was at home alone. My wife was out doing what she does all the time, helping people. And I was really reflective. I wasn't afraid. I just was sort of sitting there going, okay, what the heck am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with this? You know, he said there's no cure. It's a progressive chronic illness, and there's nothing to stop it.
It wasn't that much longer, though, that the runway even got shortened again.
Yeah, within about a year, or I guess it was almost 2 years, I actually got into the transplant program, which is the only way that you can out, you know. And we were in Edmonton for a month. We had to go up there to take a bunch of courses and stuff. And when we came back, I had a meeting with 2 of the doctors, and and they told me that they were surprised I wasn't already in the hospital, but in their experience, I would be in hospice within 30 to 60 days because the disease had progressed that much. Yeah. Yeah.
Just the impact emotionally, thinking about your life now being reduced to a matter of days.
Yeah, 2 months, yeah.
Yeah, like in that, that window or that realization that what felt like maybe you would have many, many years now gets reduced to this. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it changes the way that you look at life. And that's what we wanted to talk about this morning, because you somehow, you defied all laws. Here you are. How long ago was that?
Huh? That was 2017.
So they didn't know who Gerry was, obviously. Yeah. But, thankfully, things have worked out on a number of fronts. Yeah. There have obviously been more challenges and even a more recent one. Do you want to share the most recent?
Yeah. Just in the last month, we discovered that I have bladder cancer. And I don't know a lot about it right now. In fact, I got a meeting with the oncologist next week, but I read the pathology report, and the words were not good. The words that they used were, it's an extreme tumor and it's invasive. And it will require aggressive treatment. I do know a little bit because I have an appointment on next Wednesday, and then all of a sudden I got an appointment on Thursday, and it's the radiologist. So I'm assuming they're going to recommend radiation, probably chemotherapy as well. But I'll know more next Wednesday, and then I'll be in the is it worth it mode. Yeah. I'll make a decision whether I do that or not. Yeah.
Gerry, I'm so grateful that you're willing to talk to us this morning about how these revelations have morphed your spirituality, mm-hmm. and how it's changed your view of the world. I know that when we talked the other day, one word that came up again and again was gratitude.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the kinds of everyday experiences and moments that you've come to feel very grateful for since realizing a lot of this is going on?
It sharpens everything. You just see more. You just see more. You look for more. You look for those moments that are beautiful in your life, like my wife, my grandchildren, my good friends, and object things too. Like in my house, I look around my house and I see the pictures on the wall and the things, and I go, oh, geez, that's when we were in France. Oh, that's when, and it just brings this, well, this smile and this warmth inside of me. And that I get up. When I get up, that's what I'm looking for. Sometimes I don't feel so hot, but I still find those places. And my wife is amazing. She's walked this journey with me every day. Yeah. So it's just amazing. I don't want to miss anything.
I'm curious. Prior to a lot of this happening, were those kinds of things just not on the radar?
Yeah, they just flow through in life. It's just flow through. To me, that was me. I'm not saying this everywhere. You just kind of flow through life every day, another day, and there's certain things and there's routines and everything. But like I relish in what are we going to have for dinner tonight? Sometimes it's no. Not beef and barley again. But then I have to pick myself up and say, she made this for me.
Yeah.
She made this for me.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Or meals like, just food. I love eating. I love driving my car. God, I like driving my car.
Yeah.
It's a little sporty car,
Yeah.
I like that.
I've thought about it as we've chatted, how often I get caught just believing that there's going to be many, many more opportunities and probably better opportunities ahead. So I maybe don't savor the opportunities and the things that I've had yesterday or in the past.
Yeah, memories are amazing,
And allowing them to soak and to relish in them.
Yeah.
I've noticed that in your language, you when you talk about little things, even like you talk about driving your car, there are things that are maybe not even the biggest things, but they've become so precious and valuable.
Yeah, and memories too. Like my memories are so vivid, and I love them. They bring smiles to my face. It's like I was an actor. I think you knew that. There's a tunnel when you're an actor at the Performing Arts Center. You walk through this tunnel to get to where you're going to perform, and you walk behind all the stages, And I just had this memory of I was walking through there one day, and I just all of a sudden stopped and went, "Look what I get to do," And it's like that. These memories where I just go back and I look at them and I go, "What? Look what I got to do! Look who I got to do it with!
Wow.
Look where I was!"
Wow.
I have about 5 pictures in our photo album of me going like this. Look what I get to do!
You also mentioned a heightened sense of urgency now, more so than maybe you felt in the past.
This particular phase since the bladder cancer,
Were there things...
what's that?
I wanted to ask you, were there things, or are there things that now you have no problem giving yourself permission or other people in your life permission to do or to stop doing now without any hesitation?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would say I don't have time to pretend anymore. I don't have time to be angry. I don't have time to be angry.
Yeah.
How can you be?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the newest one is the bladder cancer is. I don't want to put a stamp on it and say, but I feel like this might be it. This might be the something that's not going to be totally curable. And as I said, I got to make the decision whether I'm going to. Do I want to have chemotherapy for 60 days and throw up every day? Is it worth it? I don't know. At my age, is it worth it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I remember you had mentioned at one point I know Jean had been such a caregiver for you and been so hands-on for so long, but there came a point where you're just like, get out, go, travel, whatever. Almost a heightened urgency for her to experience
Absolutely.
that. Do you?
Yeah, the counselor at the transplant clinic, he's actually Dr. Zanus, he's a psychiatrist, but he just turned to me one day in one of our meetings and he said, Gerry, you have to fire Jean because she'll never stop. And she wouldn't, she wouldn't. And, finally I said, look, you have opportunities to travel. I can't travel, but you can. Send me a lot of pictures.
Wow.
Get out of here.
Wow.
Go travel. Go be with your friends. Go to, go movie. Go to do something that we can't do together. We do lots of things together still.
Yeah.
But I can't do those things. You can go and put your life. And she's really, it took her a while, but she's starting to really, she just framed a picture to put in her room, and it's a beautiful picture of this really quite beautiful lady, and she's just standing on a beach, and she's got this cape floating on, and she just said, this just reminds me of who I am now. And I went, wow, that's so cool.
It's so cool of both of you to be able to embrace that.
Yeah, for sure. Because being a caregiver, I'll tell you what, I think it's harder on the caregivers than it is on me. Because you think, well, a few months ago, I don't know, Jean was going to go skiing with the kids, grandkids, and she had a couple of lunch meetings set up, and then all of a sudden it's when they detected the bladder cancer. Anyway, I didn't feel well, and so guess what? Get in the car, go to the hospital, cancel everything.
Wow.
For 10 years, that's how Jean had to live.
Right.
Never knowing when all of a sudden it's get in the car, we're going to the hospital.
I know that there's people in the room here who are caring for aging parents who have all kinds of different stuff going on in your life, and you can probably relate to this challenge of watching someone with shortened runways and how that impacts the way you see your life and the life around you, being able to somehow live in the middle of the storm and the uncertainty.
I had to redefine our marriage about 3 times.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. You also talked about the way that this has increased your compassion levels. It's changed you in a way. It's made you softer. Can you talk about maybe even like relationships within your family maybe that have changed as a result of a softer version of Gerry?
Yeah. There's a couple of people in my family who used to drive me nuts.
We all have those.
And now they drive me to the hospital.
Oh, thank God. Hey?
But truly, I've come to see them, in different ways for who they are. Even my grandchildren, just I live in a multi-generational home. My daughter and 3 of our grandchildren live upstairs, and they think our house is just another room, And at first it really drove me nuts. But I love them. Now they come down and here's an eye-opener for you. Isaac, he was, I think, 7 at the time. We're sitting on the couch and we're talking, and then he goes into the kitchen and he says to Jean, he said, Grandpa's a pretty good guy when he's not grumpy. He said, we just had a man-to-man talk. I think we're going to be okay. And you know what? The truth of that is absolutely the truth. He just never stops talking. And now I just love him. I just love him. Yeah. So
it's amazing how when you sense that your times with these people are numbered.
Yeah.
They may be imperfect, but it's amazing how special they can become in light of that.
Again, I don't have time to get mad if they break a vase.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But I don't have time to be angry.
Right. A lot of people, have a real fear of death. They get uncomfortable talking about death. How has death and maybe the uncertainty, fear of the uncertainty, what all is going to happen or
Yeah.
not be able to happen, how has that changed you?
Yeah. Every once in a while I slip into the heaven and hell from my childhood,
Yeah.
And I look and I go, have I been good enough? I don't know. When he opens the book and says, remember that time?
So you start worrying about maybe what lies beyond the grave, what lies behind there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's normal.
So then I go back to what my core belief is now, which is, I don't know for sure, but I think it's good. I watched my dad die. I don't know if you've ever seen anyone die, but there's movement in your body all the time that you don't even realize it. Like it's the subtlest of movements. And when he died, the absolute perfect stillness. And I just said, something just left him. Something's not there that was there. And I've hung on to that because it was amazing to me to watch his body just all of a sudden go still.
Wow.
It was crazy.
And that brings you like warmth?
It does.
What does that do? Does it?
It does, yeah. Yeah, it really does, yeah.
Are there many things that you fear now?
Besides beef and barley soup, yeah.
That's one too many hospital days, eh?
You know what? The strangest thing is, for many of the times I was in the hospital, I really enjoyed it.
Really?
Well, it's Unit 29 is the respiratory. I know every nurse. It was like going for a visit. And it was like, they're going to give me this because I had an infection or I had pneumonia or something. I got a virus, and there was always other transplant patients on that ward. And we get together and watch hockey games, send out for pizza, So I didn't have that real trepidation or fear. When I've been alone a few times, though, I've been feeling some things, and I'd say, "Oh God, no, not today, not today," not today. So I have some. I have to occasionally, I have to readjust my thinking. I have to stop and say, wait a minute. I still have right now. Don't lose it.
Good for
Don't
you.
lose right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
it takes an adjustment, sometimes.
Yeah. I bet it did.
Yeah.
A little while ago, you're a part of a small group, and they did something that was, I hadn't heard about this kind of thing being done before, and I was struck by it. In fact, I was here when everything was kind of getting organized. I'm like, what the heck are they doing here? Can you maybe just describe what went down?
Two groups of men's group that I have been to had a living funeral for me.
A living funeral.
A living memorial service.
A living memorial service.
Right in this room, actually. There was about 8 or 9 of them, and they sat in like a semicircle like this, and I had a chair in the middle. And one by one, they came up to me, knee to knee, and told me how they saw me, the person that I thought I was, what effect I had had on their lives, what I might have influenced them in some way. It was beautiful. It was overwhelming.
When I heard this idea,
wow, it was
incredible. Like how often do we just go, you know what?
Yeah.
We'll just wait until the funeral to say it. We don't realize it. And in fact, most times, hey, I've performed a ton of funerals in my day. Mm-hmm. And the number of times I've looked at people who are racked with such regret that they waited until then to be able to say things about that person
Yeah.
until it's too late.
Yeah.
And so here was this group of men that said, no, we're coming together. We ain't waiting. Gerry's going to hear what this guy means to us right here. They didn't shy away from it. I mean, can you imagine even just the idea saying, hey, Gerry, let's, we're going to get you together. We're going to have a funeral before you're gone. It's like, even that would be a kind of an awkward thing. I've often been thinking, my dad's been in poor health. And I've been thinking, I got to sit down with you, Dad, and we got to talk out some stuff. But it's awkward because you don't want to make him think like, hey, you know what? We're getting whatever. Because I'm hoping he's not.
Yeah.
But just that process, and then to sit, and to hear about the impact that it had. Hey, for you to sit and listen to what they said.
I never saw myself the way they saw me.
Really?
I never saw it. They said words like wisdom, like so caring, always there, always have a story to tell that's relevant, that it told them things from stories that I tell or that I experienced that I would share a lot, and I talk a lot in case you haven't noticed. And they just talked to me as if I was a leader, and I had never seen myself that way. It changed me completely.
Wow. I just wonder how many of us have people in our lives who need one of these living funerals, who need us to go.
It's amazing.
I'm not counting on us having unlimited days. I think there's some things you need to know that I feel about you.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, how many who know Gerry in the room would attest to those things that he was just talking about? How many, stick of your, those that know Gerry, this is, Gerry, this is just so beautiful.
It was, for me, it was one of the things that Dr. Zanussi again talked about was, and certainly this was true for me, is when you have chronic illness that's starting to debilitate your ability to do things, my biggest thing was my work. I love my work, and I was struggling with what am I worth now? What value do I have to this world now that I can't do, you know? And when these men told me what I do, it just took me back to this place that just said, that's really who I am. I can be that. I don't have to ski anymore, this anymore. What I do is I spend time with people. I love people. And I always have. My work as a project manager, in fact, I used to get in a lot of trouble from the project management office because they said, this one lady said, you're a bad project manager because you spend way too much time with the people. And I just went, best backhanded compliment I've ever had. But it just ingrained that in me that for whatever time is left, I can do that still. I can do that. And some of those guys are here. How many of them are here today?
Yeah, there are a number of guys here.
There was one fellow back there that he didn't know me at all, but he came.
Really?
And he walked out of there going, wow, who is this guy? I got to get to know him. And he's become a really good friend. Yeah, a really good friend, yeah.
You know, this whole series is called The Spirituality of. This morning was devoted to presence. Because presence is what gets created when all of a sudden we sense time is short. When all of a sudden you don't just treat today like a throwaway. This moment that we have might be our only moment. Yeah. My moment with you. I know ever since I heard about your diagnosis, there is this time you coach our messages, and I always have this gravity after when we're finishing up, Gerry, where I think, I don't know, how many more shots I get at you coaching
exactly.
the message. And find myself hanging off your words and trying to capture the little things that Gerry always does, because it's made my life so rich, and I think that's what presence feels like. Yeah. You start hanging off words, noticing mannerisms, things that you know you're going to miss one day. That's what today was really about, is just to try to think deeply about the fact that life really is short. It's shorter than we want to treat it. And perhaps if we could develop a practice, whether it's something as formal as a living memorial, sometimes it's just a moment you get with your kid that just, you have that moment to say something that you've thought, but you just never really came out and actually said it. Or it's a friend, or it's a partner, spouse. And you just lock eyes for a moment and you just say, I don't tell you this enough. Or, I've never told you this before, but this is what presence does. It treats this moment like it might be the last. And it doesn't have to be a funeral. It doesn't have to be serious, but it's meaningful. And it just makes the whole world drown out. And for this one moment you get, you make the most of it. You savor it. Now, it might be something you say to a person. It might just be a sunrise where you just wake up and you're looking out the window and you just go, oh my God. And rather than treating it like, oh, there will be a million more of those, just stopping and savoring it. And just treating it like, wow, that right there is so beautiful. I don't know if you have a practice of presence in your life where you look for ways to stop projecting into the future. One day when, life is going to be so much better. No, stop. And just say, actually, you almost look back like you do, Gerry.
Yeah.
And you start reliving these moments. You savor these moments you got. That's my prayer for us today.
Make the moment now. So I just, if I had to say anything other than do the things you want to do, I would say to you, if there's people in your life that you care about, tell them. Tell them right now. Tell them often. If there's people in your life you think care about you and you have the courage, ask them to tell you what they think about you. It'll blow your mind.
Gerry, I want to thank you for opening up and telling your story and allowing us to learn and grow through this journey that has been wild for you. And we just want you to know you're a gift to us. A tremendous gift. Can we thank Gerry this morning?
I'll just stay here.
Yeah, we love you, Gerry. Folks, have a great week. And we'll be back next week for the final installment of our Spirituality Of series. You won't want to miss it. Vince is fresh back from Japan. In fact, he's in the house today, so he'll be in the podium next week. Have a great week, everyone. Oh, don't forget about the Christmas hamper trees out there, all right? Good. Thanks, Gerry.